Hi guys, welcome back. This is Kat with a Soft Spoken Podcast. Lovely to have you here. And today we are talking about high functioning depression. But before we start, as always, thank you for your donations and for keeping this channel alive. Highly appreciate it. If you find my work valuable and would like to help me out, there's a PayPal donation link in the comments. And just a little shout out goes to Anthony, Brian, Freddie, and Nimga. I hope I did not butcher that. Timo, Marina, Ronya, Cindy, and Sindre. And yeah, a special enormous thank you goes to Kyle, who has pretty much made the upcoming short film on borderline personality disorder possible with his very generous donations. So without any further ado, let's begin. The thing that connects all of the mental disorders is how they impair a person's ability to function. That means that you are unable to fully and properly function in one or more areas of your life. Relationships, school, work, you name it. In some cases, a mental illness may be milder, and living your life might be a tiny bit easier. And that is where the phrase high functioning comes in. You will usually hear it paired with depression, but it can pertain to pretty much any mental health issue. And to put it simply, if you are high functioning, you can make it through the day, but it doesn't mean it's easy. In terms of depression, this milder version used to be called dysthymia, and now it is known as PDD, persistent depressive disorder. So, now that we know what high functioning means, let's take a look at the symptoms. We will start with the DSM-5, the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, and that is the big book you might have seen in your therapist's office. Now this is going to sound a bit dry, but bear with me since I'm going to explain this in a more humanly way, in more humanly terms, in just a second. The first criterion for PDD is that an individual experiences a depressed mood most days and for most of the day. The depressed mood must include 2 or more of these symptoms: decreased appetite or overeating, insomnia or oversleeping, lack of energy and fatigue, lowered self-esteem, difficulty concentrating and making decisions, feeling sad and hopeless. Now, in addition, there are a few other criteria that have to be met for PDD. The above symptoms must last for at least 2 years, most days, without any relief from depression for longer than 2 months during that period. No periods of mania or hypomania must be present, which means an unusually euphoric and energetic mood, as that would probably point to bipolar disorder, which is different than just depression. And these symptoms cannot be better explained by another mental disorder, a medical condition, or substance abuse. And last but not least, the illness must impair the quality of the diagnosed person's life. Now, before I explain the difference between PDD and major depression, let me explain what high-functioning depression actually feels like for a human being. Number 1, you may feel tired all the time, even if you get enough sleep. Number 2, people think you're lazy, but you just don't have the energy to do more than simply get through the day. Number 3, you feel down most of the time. Number 4, when you're happy, it doesn't last long. Number 5, there are days when you feel like you'll never be happy again and life just seems hopeless. Number 6, you cry a lot without any particular reason. Number 7, you feel unworthy, low self-esteem, generally speaking. Number 8, you gain or lose weight because you either overeat or don't eat at all. Number 9, generally speaking, you manage to get through the day. You leave for work or school, you go see your friends, but all of these are so incredibly difficult that the pain is almost physical. Number 10, you feel like you're constantly faking it. You put on a mask and become the person people expect you to be. Number 11, when you do open up to people and tell them you suspect something is not quite right, they refuse to believe you because you were seemingly holding it together. You seem to be fine on the surface. Number 12, even though you can get things done, you're never getting them done to your full potential. Number 13, you can have good days and they will feel relatively normal. You'll have focus and mental clarity and you will be quite productive on a good day. Number 14, the bad days will be unbearable. This is when the push through the day comes in. You kind of get things done, but by the time evening comes, you are exhausted and full of hatred towards yourself. Now, moving on to the differences. There are 2 very important ones, the duration and severity. PDD persists over a long period of time, 2 years or more, while major depression occurs in episodes that are shorter lived, but still at least 2 weeks long. The symptoms are similar but more severe during an episode of major depression. There is a difference in functioning as well. If you have PDD, you will, as I've mentioned before, still push yourself through the day and get things done. But when a major depressive episode hits, that functioning will be heavily impaired. It will decline. You'll do worse at school or work or social events or skip and avoid them altogether. You'll have difficulties with keeping up with self-care. Major depression causes lack of interest in activities you used to enjoy. Of course, there's also the suicidal thoughts part of it, but that should not be reserved to just major depression, I think. Now, if any of that sounds familiar, asking for help does not make you weak. Quite the opposite, it takes a lot of courage to admit something's not quite right. Even though PDD may not be as severe as major depression, there's still no need to struggle every day when there are meds out there and therapy available. And just a word for anyone who does not suffer from PDD nor major depression, please just stay alert for even the tiniest signs of PDD, since so many high-functioning people are high achievers and they tend to hide their struggles. PDD might actually be more difficult to detect. High-functioning people will try and make you think that everything's alright. So, my point is, it never hurts to ask from time to time if you suspect anything at all. So I think that's pretty much it for this topic, at least from me. I will be making more of these videos and comparison videos, but what I need you to know is that these are not meant to help you self-diagnose. These are just meant to turn a red light on in your brain when needed and point you in the right direction towards getting professional help. If you need more info, there's plenty of articles and videos online, but I do hope that this podcast will be the beginning of a journey to a better, wiser you. So thank you for listening, and I will speak to you very soon. Goodbye.